When hope is gone, undo this lock and send me forth on a moonlit walk. Release restraint level 0. Hey kids, wanna see a dead body?
Hi guys, this is the Void of the Ravenclaw. Welcome back to another fanfiction story. If you like this type of content, smash the like button and subscribe for future updates that I post on my community tab frequently. Now let's start this new fanfiction. When Perpetua created the multiverse, she created 3 sons: the Monitor, the World Forger, and the Antimatter. Each three sons were given a task to uphold, but in truth, she created a 4th son, the youngest and the most powerful. Perpetua used her very essence to create her youngest, as she created a old god that has the same power level as his 3 brothers. When he was first created, Perpetua, her youngest son, put her youngest son in deep slumber after a certain amount of time passed, and sealing him up in the core of an unknown world known as Krypton. The forgotten old god was given a task the moment he was created. Perpetua told her youngest that his duty is the most important, keeping the balance. Perpetua might be an evil entity, but she would never endanger the balance of the multiverse. The other reason she created her son is to keep her 3 children in check if they endanger the multiverse or ever turn against her, or just in case of her death or her imprisonment. She merely scoffed at the idea of her being imprisoned, but she's a smart woman. So she made contingency plans, just in case. She was right to do so. She was eventually trapped into the source wall itself, making her unable to escape after her 3 sons churned on her. The moment Krypton was destroyed, the 4th son of Perpetua and the forgotten old god began to awaken. Unlike his other old god counterparts, he doesn't have a large form like them. He was originally created in a human form. As you see a small child around the age of 6 floating in the midst of the debris where Krypton once stood. After the Kryptons made their world unstable from their own foolishness, the young old god opened his eyes, revealing his right eye is completely green, without no irises, with some sort of symbol in his left eye, or some sort of symbol in it, and the left eye is purple. Wearing pure black and green mixture with purple clothing. Izuku's wearing what you see in the picture. Where am I? See you finally awoken, my son. Where are you, Mother? I can't sense you. Sadly, I've been in prison in the Source Wall by your brother's betrayals. Or betrayal. Shall I erase them for you? Shall I erase them from this multiverse, Mother? That won't be necessary. Despite their betrayal, they served their purpose. They have a purpose to uphold. And they're my children, same as you. They will be punished in due time, when I escape. Do you remember what I told you of your purpose when I brought you into this galaxy, into this multiverse? Yes, Mother, I'm to uphold the balance. The balance. If that's my purpose, then I will not show mercy. If my brothers break the balance, I will strike them down without no hesitation, Mother. Very good. I might care for your brothers, but if they ever cross that line, they must be eliminated. You were woken up too early, you were woken up too early. For now, just explore the multiverse and learn. You have much to learn before you could perform your duties, before you take the mantle of balance, my son. It's only proper I give you a name, my son. I give you a name from the world called Earth. From today forward, you shall be known as Izuku. Izuku said his name over and over again to get a feel for it. As he nodded his head in acknowledgement of his mother, even though she can't see him. Izuku, I like it. It's most appropriate. Thank you, Mother. But how are we speaking if you're trapped in the Source Wall? When I created you, my son, I created you as my own essence. How I brought your brothers into a world, into this multiverse, was a different process. I simply created them. With you, my son, I used my very essence to create you. You will be able to contact me, even if I am in the Source Wall. We have a deeper connection, my son. Now go, Izuku, explore. I must regain my strength so I can talk to you further. Izuku immediately began to fly out of the area where Krypton used to be and started to explore the vast galaxy. Izuku descended down to a dead world that was visited by Brainiac. Izuku watched the whole event transpire with disgust. He wanted to intervene, but he decided against it. There's much he doesn't know about this galaxy and the multiverse. So going in head first would cause more problems than fix down the line. So he stayed his hand. And he's not to really involve himself in matters that doesn't concern him, if the balance is not being in danger in any way. But yet again, he hasn't took up his mantle yet, so he could act, but he chose not to. Izuku slowly sent down onto the desert world as he sees the city were once filled with life, now to be in ruins, with no life forms to be seen on the entire planet. Izuku's still confused why the Metal Man, Izuku dubbed him, had to kill everyone to gain knowledge. Izuku can see several different ways to gain such knowledge without harming the population of any world he visits. Complex by the humanoid robot hybrid Modus. He doesn't quite understand it. Izuku placed his palm on the ground of the dead world. Izuku sensed several life forms heading his direction. The moment he removed his hands from the ground, he saw two humanoid aliens hovering in the sky with some sort of green uniform with green rings on their fingers, growing bright green. Halt! Identify yourself. Did you do this? Izuku tilts his head to his side. Did you do this to this world? Izuku respond in an emotional... Izuku respond with no emotion displayed on his face. No, I did not kill this world and the life forms that live on this planet. Then do you know who did it? Yes, it was the Metal Man. The Green Lanterns were confused by the description that the strange-looking boy said. They felt a bit uneasy being around this kid. Well, this being in a form of a child. They could tell that's no mere child by the glowing green right eye and an ominous feeling they feel from him. Wait, don't tell me you watched it. Yes, I did. I watched the life end on this planet. Metal Man got what he wanted and took one of the cities and shrunk it. And you just stood by and watched the entire thing? Yes, it's not my place to intervene in the natural order of things. Despite I find the Metal Man to be quite revolting. You're going to have to come with us. Give me a second. Come with us. If it's who I think it is, I must take you to the Guardians. You have important information we need. No. What do you mean, no? I have no desire to go with you lower life forms to meet these Guardians. You have no power over me, mortal. Be gone. Izuku turned around to walk away, only to see a green construct come into existence, blocking his path. As is a green wall construct, Izuku turned his head to look at the Green Lanterns with his glowing green eye. Are you challenging me, insect? We of the Green Lantern Corps place you under arrest for suspicion of the destruction of this world and the extinction of all the population of this planet and ties with Brainiac. If you proceed with this action, lower life forms, I'll be forced to erase you from this galaxy. Attack! Very well. Your lives are forfeit. Izuku extended his hand outwards as a humongous black scythe come into existence with purple cracks all around the weapon. And the lower and upper part of the weapon is connected with a floating purple eye with a slit in it. Like the eye itself has some sort of gravity connecting both pieces of the scythe. That's what the scythe looks like, just for reference. The scythe simply pulse. That simple action made both Green Lanterns fly backwards into the nearby moon. Izuku slowly began to float towards the moon. In a mere instant, his body instantly teleported in the color of purple and reappeared on the moon with his weapon in the process of slashing downwards onto one of the Green Lanterns, still on the surface of the moon. Izuku simply swung it downwards while floating in the air above the Green Lantern. Die. As the size came down, swinging downwards. Green Lantern's partner made a shield construct to save his comrade, but only to see his construct crack and shatter into million pieces in mere seconds. Luckily for his friend, that second was enough time for him to get some distance away from Izuku. The moment Izuku's scythe made contact with the moon immediately was chopped in half with one simple swung from his weapon. I see. I missed. I see you're fast on your feet. Green Lantern, was it? But you're only postponing your death. It's only a matter of time before I kill you too. Green Lantern. Funny name for weird looking outfits. I'm guessing your powers have something to do with those glowing rings. Your fate has already been decided the moment you challenge me in sex. As a very feminine voice came out of the scythe, you are correct in your judgment, master. These foolish creatures. It's not foolish, it's okay. Foul creatures dare to challenge you, master. They deserve more than a quick death. Death is too good for these insects. The moment the Green Lanterns heard the scythe actually begin to speak, they immediately sent a distress call to any nearby Corps members that are in the current galaxy they're in. I see you finally woken, Void. Sorry about that, Master. I wasn't planning to sleep so long after we were freed from our slumber. But the only reason I woke up is because you decided to wield me. After all, this is our first battle together. It's our first battle ever, Void. Master, there's several life extinguishers heading to our coordinates. I advise we eliminate these two life forms as soon as possible. Izuku suddenly disappeared and reappeared right in front of one of the Green Lanterns and grabbed him by the throat. I suppose you're right, Void. And these rings seem to be a source of their power. That's on their finger. Let's fix that, shall we? As Void shrunk her size to a very small scythe, as Izuku chopped several of the fingers off of the hand of the Green Lantern, as his suit disappeared immediately, as the Green Lantern began to gasp for air, as Void pulsed once again. When Void noticed the other Green Lantern trying to save his comrade, as the Green Lantern was sent into the second moon that rotates around the dead world. Izuku stared down at the gasping Green Lantern. Die. As Izuku swung Void downwards, killing the Green Lantern, chopping him in half. As the rings shoot off, trying to find a new wielder. As the Green Lantern finally died. Even if he was separated from the ring when he was still alive, the moment he was killed, the ring will immediately search for a new host Izuku watched the strange-looking ring shoot off in the distance. These green lanterns are nothing without their fancy ring, Master. They do not pose a problem for you. And if they manage to muster a large number of these pathetic Green Lantern, I have no doubt you could easily take them out. Let's go, Void. The other one still lives. Izuku swung Void, making some sort of glass dimensional rift. As he walked through and walked out the other side on the other moon, where the Green Lantern is located, barely getting up from the fall, Izuku pointed his finger towards the Green Lantern and shot out green energy out of his fingertips. The Green Lantern screamed out in pain as the green energy shots hit his shins, making him fall down to both his knees. Izuku repeatedly to shoot the strange energy into the Green Lantern all around his body, hitting different areas each time without even moving from his spot. Izuku start his attack, seeing the green. Izuku stopped his attack, seeing the Green Lantern make a green dome construct over himself. Izuku raised Void in the air. Void immediately changed into a bigger scythe, adjusting the distance between the Green Lantern and her master, as Izuku cut right through the weak construct, cutting the construct and the Green Lantern in half. Before the two pieces of the Green Lantern fall apart, Izuku swung Void once again, chopping the head off the Green Lantern, as the rings shoot off in the distance, trying to find a new host. So these rings must have a living host to use their abilities. How quaint. Master, we're surrounded. It seems those two Green Lanterns that you killed sent a distress call of some sort to their comrades. Izuku stared upwards to see 30 Green Lanterns hovering over him. Izuku raised Void and slammed the tip of the scythe into the moon's surface. As the moon shattered, as all debris shoot towards the Green Lanterns in the sky, while Izuku stood in the only part of the moon's surface that wasn't destroyed, staring upwards emotionally towards the Green Lanterns. Izuku created a marble-sized energy ball in the palm of his hand, as the energy ball slowly floats up in the middle of the Green Lanterns. Die. The moment those words left his lips, the small ball shrunk even further, then suddenly expanded as the energy ball detonated, vaporizing everyone in the area in a green flash, as you see 30 Green Lantern rings floating and shooting off at the same time. Rings was left with no choice but to seek new hosts when their prior hosts were vaporized by the energy attack. You're devastating as always, Master. Was it necessary, Master, to use such a strong attack to vanquish these disgusting weaklings? No. I was curious what I could actually do. I'm still learning my powers, Void. But you're right. They were unworthy to witness such a attack. I will prevent myself from using such methods in the future on unworthy life forms. Let's go, Void. Where are we going, Master? To explore, Void. There's much I don't know about the multiverse and the people that inhabited it. I want to see it all. Excellent strategy, as always. This exploring would be most useful in testing out your different abilities, and to any fool that dare to challenge you. I can't wait to eliminate them. I can't wait to eliminate them, Master. Izuku flew off the one part of the moon that was still intact and advanced further into the galaxy once again. Several years has passed. Izuku eventually found himself heading towards Earth in the Milky Way galaxy. His appearance hasn't changed one bit. He still looks like around 6 years old. Izuku's aging process is different compared to other life forms. He will get older in evolutions. Not even Izuku knows how many evolutions he'll go through. His appearance will change when he gains power. He is still in his infant stage. This is the planet called Earth that you mentioned that Lady Chua mentioned when you last spoke to her. Flashback a year ago, as Izuku's hovering in the sky on a planet that's being overtaken by a dark side and his forces. I see you found Darkseid, my son. Yes, Mother, I have. I see you've been exploring as I advised you to do so. It was most revealing. I learned many things, Mother. I take it this is not a social call. That's why you're my favorite son. You always instantly know my intentions. I want you to travel to the Milky Way galaxy and visit a planet called Earth. I have no doubt Darkseid will attempt to conquer Earth eventually. I want you to prevent that. I ask why, Mother? Because it's quite simple, my son. Earth is mine. It belongs to me, and no one, and no upstart. Darkseid what you will. You can always create another Darkseid if you choose to. Removing one pathetic life form in the galaxy, in the multiverse, won't endanger the status quo of the multiverse. As you grow, so does your power, and your greater understanding of the status quo. It will be revealed to you in good time, my son. Understood, Mother. I will travel to this Milky Way galaxy and visit Earth in a year's time. Very good. Farewell for now, son. In a flashback. Master, do you think that's normal? As Izuku see key points on Earth getting engulfed in some sort of thick fog covering the landscape. As Izuku watch more of the planet get engulfed in this strange fog blocking out the sun. At this rate, the planet will be totally engulfed in this fog in the next 2 weeks or so, according to my calculations. Izuku entered the atmosphere. Izuku finally flew through the thick fog that's coming from a strange alien factory that's creating the fog, engulfing the planet. In the middle of one of the biggest cities in Japan, Izuku noticed several Imperium walkers. These are Imperial walkers. If I mention them, I mean them. I don't really remember the actual name for them. I just walkers, Imperium walkers. So that's how I'm gonna identify them from now on. You notice several Imperium walkers patrolling the city, with several platoon of Imperium soldiers fighting against heroes scattered all around. These are what the foot soldiers look like, just for reference. Seems the inhabitants of this planet is in the process of being invaded by these strange white creatures. Should we eliminate them, Master? Wait and see what these Earthlings is capable of, Void. I want to know why Mother is so fascinated with this world. We'll stand by and watch. For now, Void. I sense someone coming, and by the aura I'm feeling, he's definitely strong. For being a human. Izuku watched the buff blonde man with blue eyes jump up in the middle of the air and threw out a punch at the Imperium Walker, only for the Imperial Walker shoot out a beam of energy at the hero, as All Might was shot through several buildings by the pure force of the beam that was shot at him in midair. Izuku's eyes never left the sight of All Might. Wade could sense her master is in deep thought. Is something wrong, Master? An overly buff, blonde human. I could sense different consciousness in that Earthling. Understand how that's possible. I'm just curious, that's all. Izuku watched All Might lift the rubble off of him when the Imperium Walker turned around to continue its patrol. Turning its back on All Might rushed towards it and jumped in the middle of the air and scream out his attack as he punched a hole directly through the Imperium Walker, as the Walker slowly falls to the ground and immediately blows up. Let's go. Let's see these Earthlings. Let's go. Let's give these Earthlings a little assistance. Izuku begins to float over the Imperium factory that's producing smog, as Void appeared in his hands once again. The alien factory looks something like this. Izuku begins to float over the Imperium factory that's producing the smog, as Void appeared in his hands. Izuku swung downwards, creating a green and purple energy slash, cutting through the factory in half. As the factory blew up on itself, Izuku managed to cut through, all the way through, cutting right through the core of the factory, making a chain reaction going off, and resulting the factory blowing up. When All Might noticed the factory get cut in half and explode, he couldn't find the one responsible for helping out the city, or any sign of the person who did it. Izuku was long gone, about time All Might turn around. Izuku appeared on top of a skyscraper in Hosu City. The fog is still blocking the sky. That factory might be destroyed, but it'll take a few more to be taken out before the sun could go back to normal, or the sky to go back to normal. You only destroyed one factory. There's plenty around in Japan. Izuku analyzed the Imperium soldiers more closely and watched their battle continue with the heroes. As he placed Void over his shoulder while holding on to while holding onto the handle of the blade. You're awfully quiet, Void. It's just, this is extremely easy. It's kind of boring, Master. I agree, Void. I'll be sealing away most of my power, so my time on this planet will be a lot more interesting. What do you say, Void? I agree, Master. It'll make things a lot more entertaining. Izuku closed his eyes and began to sealing away majority of his power. Izuku can easily unseal his power, effortlessly. He only needs a couple of seconds to do so, in case he come across someone on his caliber that has access to the sort of power Izuku wields when he's full powered, in his current form. Power is still growing. He's a growing boy after all. It's best to limit himself for now, so he can learn his powers in a slow pace, so he doesn't get overwhelmed of how much power he could produce in that small stature of a body. Izuku could easily wipe out these Imperium fairly easy, but his purpose is to keep the balance, even if he hasn't fully taken up the mantle just yet. He'll only intervene by destroying the factories, because he was curious to see how the alien forces would react. Naturally, they react violently. He's not going to put in the effort in saving any humans. He was tasked by his mother to protect the world, not the inhabitants. If the humans became a threat to the planet itself, he would be forced to kill them all by exterminating the entire human race. If he allowed this type of dangerous species to get more advanced, they would eventually endanger balance itself. Izuku is not an evil being like his mother, Perpetua, nor is he good in any way or form, or any degree. His main purpose of existing is keeping the balance and striking down anyone that dares to endanger the balance that he must uphold, regardless if they're mortals, God, new God. The only being he won't strike against is the Endless. Izuku never met anyone from the family of the Endless. He was only told to respect them if he ever came across any of them during his travels. Izuku looked down onto the city level to see several Imperium soldiers point at him, as several Imperium walkers charge and shoot their beams at the same time at the skyscraper. Master, I believe we've been spotted. I see that, Void. Izuku blocked the beam of energy with Void, reflecting the beam of energy back at the Imperium walker, destroying it. Izuku jumped off the skyscraper and dodged 3 incoming beams of energy. Izuku used Void to redirect the 3 energy shots shooting at him at the same time, reflecting it back to the original position, destroying the Imperium walkers at the same time. As Izuku flew down into a window of a church, crashed into a stained glass window on the roof, surprising all of the extremely scared humans. The humans seemed to be more afraid of him than the Imperium soldiers in the church, getting ready to fire their energy rifles at the civilians to gun down the people of the church. The only reason they haven't done so far is because of Izuku's presence in the church. Izuku slowly hovered down to the floor of the church with his humongous scythe resting on his shoulder. Before the Earthlings or the Imperium could do anything, Izuku raised his arm, extended his hand outwards in a palm towards the Imperium soldiers. As several green chains that has a spike tip at the end of it shoot out of his sleeve of his cloak, impaling all of the Imperiums in the church as they all turn to ash as the chains recede back into his sleeve in his cloak. Izuku surveyed the church with his glowing green eye at the very scared and petrified humans, like he's gauging their worth, at the same time not even acknowledging their existence. As the local priest went on all fours in front of Izuku himself. Are you Death? Please. He's the angel of death. Spare my flock. If you must take a soul, take mine. Izuku lowered his head downwards towards the priest, and he could only see his glowing green eye from his angle. I am not Death. That title belongs to another. I have no interest in your pitiful souls. Your lives was saved because these invaders got in my way. If you live or die is completely up to you. I advise you and your flock to find shelter elsewhere. This structure is no longer safe for you and your flock. Because you show me respect, maggot, I will eradicate every single one of these creatures in this direct area, so you have time to escape with your flock. Beyond that, your fate and the fate of your flock doesn't concern me. Izuku might not think much of these humans or have any fondness for humanity in general, but his appearance had an effect on everyone in the church, especially a young Obara. She immediately approached Izuku and repeatedly thanked him for saving her and her family. Thank you, Mr. Angel. Obara, mother and father were scared because she grabbed hold of the cloak of the godlike entity that revealed himself. Izuku stared at the little girl for a brief second and nodded at her. Efforts of thanking him. Even though he doesn't know what an angel is, but he didn't mention it. In that moment, she let go of his cloak as he walked out of the church, opening the church door with telekinesis and stepped onto the street. Master, are you serious going to help these insects? This sort of action is beneath you, Master. When I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, Void. If a being of my caliber goes back on my word, he's nothing but a disgrace, and doesn't deserve his power or station in the grand scheme of things. Cut the chatter. There's a lot of insects we need to squash. As the Imperium soldiers surround Izuku, while aiming their energy rifles, all pointed towards Izuku, ready to pull the trigger at the slightest moment of aggression. Izuku's green chain shot out from his body and impaled several Imperium soldiers, turning them to ash as Izuku began blocking the beams of energy coming out of their beam rifles with void. One of Izuku's chain swipe one of the Imperium soldiers into the wall, making a crack from the force of the attack. Izuku slam void into the street, making huge cracks in the street. Izuku started around the remaining Imperium foot soldiers that are still on their feet. As he let go of void and disappeared and reappeared right in front of one of the Imperium soldiers, Izuku simply flicked the creature with his fingers. As there was a slight wind pressure as the creature went flying into several buildings and not stopping. That simple act, the Imperium soldiers immediately opened fire upon Izuku. As Izuku teleported all around and began to flick each Imperium soldier one by one until they were all forced out of the area with a single flick of the finger. Izuku approached Void, seeing more of the Imperium soldiers heading towards his direction as he yanked Void out of the street. Proceed to swing Void downwards onto the street, making a spark. A simple spark formed into a wave of fire, vaporizing everyone on the street. Nothing but charred cars and pieces of building being melted. Holy shit, Master. Even when you're sealed majority of your power, you're still a terror on the battlefield. What do you expect? I am the son of Perpetua. After all, I might be considered an old god, but I am the most powerful old god in existence. Let's go, Void. I'm done here. Izuku disappeared and reappeared instantly in front of another Imperium factory and began to destroy every single one of them, one after another, with a single swing with his scythe. After cleansing Japan of these alien factories that produce some sort of smog, blocking out the sun, he allowed the inhabitants of Earth to take care of the rest, as Izuku eventually found himself in America, in Metropolis, witnessing strange-looking humans wearing weird uniforms, battling the Imperium on the city streets. Izuku is hovering in the sky, watching the events transpire. Izuku took notice to the Man of Steel, Superman, instantly, watching him use heat vision shooting out of his eyes at the Imperium walkers and beginning to fly around, shooting beams of light, beams of energy out of his eyes. Izuku even noticed the Amazon Princess Diana and the dark-skinned Green Lantern working with a human moving incredible fast, aka the Flash, and a strange green-looking Martian fighting alongside the humans. Izuku didn't even bother with Batman because he didn't show any ability whatsoever, so Izuku immediately ignored his existence. Izuku took a glance over to see a girl flying around, smashing her spike mace at an Imperial walker, as Hawkgirl was flying around, invading beams of energy. I gotta say, these seems to be quite powerful for insects, Master. I agree with that. They're powerful lower life forms. Even that Green Lantern showed more skill compared to the other Green Lanterns I faced so far. You mean you slaughtered, Master? I suppose I did. They shouldn't have challenged me. They brought their that fate upon themselves. It looks like all the powerful insects are heading to that large alien factory. Seems so, Void. Let's follow them. I want to see where this leads. Izuku floated down to the street level once the hero entered the structure. Judging by how big that alien factory and those humans are going right into, if I was a betting site, I bet their leader of these strange creatures would probably make an appearance if you cause enough trouble. You're a scythe. You're a weapon. You can't bet. You don't have arms. You're so mean, Master. Izuku stopped hovering down before his feet could touch the ground, as Izuku's hovering above the street, mere inches away, as he makes his way to the large factory alien structure. Izuku swung Void towards the incoming Imperium soldiers, cutting through them a half without even stopping, as he slowly approached the factory. As that's where we're going to stop our story off. I hope you guys have a good night and day, judging by time zones, and I'll catch you in the next video.